Now, another story, it's been quiet about this for a while, but it's come back in the news now, and it's very important to highlight it. And that is the permissions being given to fracking in Britain. And, of course, alongside this news that fracking is being given the go-ahead, or some of it anyway, and they want to do all of it, basically, and devastate the country's environment and devastate the country's water supplies. And because that's what they're doing. And the irony is that as the stories are published about the go-ahead of fracking, other stories dominating the news are that water supplies and reservoirs, etc., are falling because of this lovely hot summer. Well, actually more than lovely, because it's gone on a bit too long. I'm not good with heat. Which has led to a period now with no rain or very little rain. So at the same time, it's like we're saying yes to fracking. At the same time, oh no, we've got a problem with water. Well, what does fracking do? Here's a story I picked out to highlight it. Oil and natural gas fracking, on average, uses more than 28 times the water it did 15 years ago, gulping up to 9.6 million gallons of water per well, and putting farming and drinking sources at risk in arid states, especially during drought. And of course, during the great drought in America, not least affecting California, fracking didn't stop. So these almost unimaginable amounts of water were being used for fracking at a time of that water was being rationed. Starting to be rationed here with hosepipe bans and stuff. And the point being that this water used by frackers is unusable ever again. And it goes further, as I'll come to. But what fracking is firing high-powered water, jets of water, with sand and chemicals in them, massive amounts of chemicals in them. And the jet breaks up the rock, cracks it, in other words, and releases the gas and releases the oil. And so this massively polluted water that actually does the frack, where's it going to go? Does it demanifest once it's cracked the rock? No, of course it doesn't. A lot of it seeps down and goes into what? The water table. So any action that is so widespread, of course you get stupid people doing stupid things in small areas, but when it's so widely being done, as fracking is, they want it everywhere, that doesn't come down to stupidity. That comes down to agenda. And this is what we're seeing with this fracking and the use of water that goes ahead. Because anything that's in short supply and you control it, and you control who has it and who doesn't have it, gives you enormous fundamental power. And what is more fundamental, to use the word again, than water to human survival? It's even more important than food, in the sense of how quickly you are affected by it. And this is happening at the time of this drought in Britain. Quadrilla this big fracking company, gets go-ahead to start fracking at Lancashire's site. Shale gas firm Quadrilla has been given the green light by the government to start fracking at a well in Lancashire after the Energy Minister issued the first fracking permit since a new regulatory regime was introduced. Fracking is expected to begin in late August or early September at the Preston New Road site between Blackpool and Preston, which has been the focus of 18 months of protests since work on the site started. The Energy Minister said shale gas was an important potential new energy source, and she was satisfied Quadrilla had met the government's conditions for granting a hydraulic fracturing permit. Our world-class regulations, oh, do leave off, will ensure that shale exploration will maintain robust environmental standards and meet the expectations of local communities, Claire Perry said. Now, Claire Perry, the Energy Minister, at some future, sooner or later, reshuffle of government, could end up being in the Ministry of Transport or the Ministry of Pensions. It's just been put in here. Oh yeah, we'll put her in there, make her Energy Minister. What does she know about energy? What her civil services have told her? What the bureaucrats have told her? Who wrote her statement? The bureaucrats. And who controls ultimately the bureaucrats? No one who's ever seen a ballot box. And this is how it works. And this is why you look at things and people say, how can they do that? It's mad. Because there is method in the madness.